Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Catalyst Energies. My name is Dee. Thank you for joining me. I'm so grateful that you're here. This is the daily medicine transmission for April 15th, 2021. It is Thursday here on planet Earth. And, oh boy, the goddess is alive and magic is certainly afoot. And the reason I know that, well, there's lots of different reasons, but one of them is my female cat is frisky as all hell today and tearing around the house and just way more playful than she usually is at this time of the day. So there's something going on. There's something in the air. So I hope everyone is doing well, taking very good care of themselves. And Venus is in Taurus officially. That happened yesterday and has spent a whole full day now in Taurus. And so this pull to nourish ourselves, to nurture ourselves, to receive and to hold space is really, really strong. And the goddess is absolutely alive. And it's interesting when we look at the intuitive message for today, that magic is absolutely afoot. And this quote is by a famous author and feminist playwright and songwriter that is very akin to the Starhawk and the Wiccan type of focus and ideology, I suppose. And so there is such a strong pull in. And as we saw yesterday with the intuitive message part of the transmission, the hermit at the center of the reading was really drawing us inward into the depths of our soul, into the depths of who we are under the surface, and really doing the work on the inside. And this energy is still very present today because there is a lot of temptation out there to very erratically act and be very restless. And the counterbalance to that is to pull in and receive and to nourish and nurture our relationship to ourselves and to really be clear with ourselves about who and what it is we value and put our energy into those situations. It's very easy to leak our energy all over the place in this restlessness and the fire in trying to battle something. And really that's going to, in the end, I think work against us as we continue to focus our attention on what we don't have, what we're battling against. And that's not to say that there is nothing to stand up to and to be a warrior about. But if we really want to manifest our dreams, our wishes, our desires on a soul level, it's really about aligning with and resonating with that geometrical pattern of reality that's unfolding. And for as much as Capricorn and Saturn has a bad rap, it's a very feminine signature because Capricorn is cardinal earth. It is a feminine signature in that the earth holds space, holds resonance, is the void in which creation happens. And the magician, for all of the potential that it holds, absolutely needs the high priestess in order to actually create magic. There is no manifestation without a space in which to create it. And the goddess, as an archetype within and without, is that space that magic can be created within and manifestation can happen, and magic is absolutely afoot, and it really does depend on what we do with it. So we're going to look at the chart today because there are some really potent transits with some fixed stars today, as well as some major aspects with our sun and Jupiter, for instance. So let's just get right into it and look at these charts for today, and then I'm going to show you as well some fixed star energy, some constellations, so we can get a clearer picture of what to expect from today. And then when we get into the intuitive message here, we are going to let's see here. We are going to be able to see the antidote, right? Give us some guidance on how to best manage these energies, and really align with the sacred feminine and the goddess energy to create the space within us for manifestation to truly occur. We cannot expect manifestation and creation to occur without the feminine archetype and without the goddess. They are inseparable from each other in terms of creation. And so we are being asked and we are being given many opportunities today, especially with our moon in Gemini, to create that space within us and to nurture that feminine aspect within us, because there is going to be, like I said, a lot of restlessness, a lot of restless energy, a lot of storm of the mind, a lot of wanting to act out. And with the trickster right there with all kinds of tricks up his sleeve, it's really up to us how we are going to interact with it. And it's pretty clear that it could go many ways. And the starseeds, the light workers, the wanderers, and the truth tellers, we're here to hold the resonance of New Earth. And we can't do that unless we have a space in which that can happen, a nurturing, beautiful space. Okay, so here we are looking at our chart for today. The current transits as of 9:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our moon is now in Gemini. So, of course, we're going to feel a little bit more chatty. We're going to span the range of ideas within our emotional landscape. Hard to settle the mind, hard to even settle the emotions because they might be all over the place. This is communication. This is short-term travel. So there is, now that the moon has come out of her exaltation in Taurus and now in Gemini, there is more movement, but Gemini is the sign that Mercury is the ruler of, which is the magician energy, the very mercurial energy of not only Gemini, but also Virgo with the Hermit. We also, the moon is the priestess, right? The high priestess, that space within us, in which to create, in an emotional way, our intuitive channel, our psychic link to, the core of who we are. So in Gemini today, there's a lot of potential to create, but it's going to come through this feminine signature if we choose to see it that way. So let's see here. I got an itchy nose. All right. So like I said, the moon is in Gemini. So the other thing I want to point out is that very soon here, the sun is going to be in a sextile to Jupiter. So we talked about this yesterday for just a little bit, which is that the sun now is getting to this position where it is gained so much potency to create that there is the potential to drop things when we are holding too much. We become a little bit obsessed by the potentiality that we hold within us. And with the sun being exalted in Aries, there is a lot of fire and there is a lot of, again, restlessness and a desire to want to act on and fulfill and express ourselves through that potency. But there's a warning here. And this sextile to Jupiter and Aquarius is an investment, that Jupiter is providing, this benefactor that Jupiter is, the expansive, benefic energy that Jupiter can be. Investing some time and some mental efficiency into what it is we have the potential to create, and making sure that our battery is functioning properly, because the battery is what holds all of the power that we generate, right? The battery is what holds all the electrical potential, and Aries as cardinal fire is the electrical potential, right? It is that spark of life that electricity does represent in an archetypal way and in a literal way. All you have to do is go back to the story of Frankenstein's monster, and that is exactly how he brought his creation to life, was through lightning. So the investment here from Jupiter, this benefic advocate and benefactor, allowing us to invest our mental efficiency and our intellect into making sure our inner battery is functioning properly, is able to hold the charge, is able to hold all of the energy. And with the sun in this degree of Aries getting very close to the Andromeda galaxy and in a conjunction to fixed star vertex here, we are being it's so counterintuitive in so many ways because there's so much energy out there. There's so many aspects. There's so many psychological operations that are put into place to pull us out of this place and wanting us to act and wanting to give our energy to acting and to being restless and to act out. And as we saw with yesterday's intuitive message, the 10 of Wands, right? The being overburdened with all of the potential that we have accumulated and that we are holding. We want to make sure that we have the potential to hold all of that, which is what the feminine and the goddess gives us and represents. Oh my God. There's so many distractions right now in so many different ways that I can't help but, apply that to this situation. So being able to hold the space, being able to pull in and nourish ourselves, being able to invest and apply our mental acuity to testing that inner battery is going to be really important today. So not only that, so that's that sun in a sextile to Jupiter, right? It's going to really, Jupiter's really expanding on our mental acuity if we take that investment opportunity with the sun today. Because when the sun meets, sorry about that. When the sun meets, distractions. Wow, that is so interesting. Okay, so when the sun does come into a conjunction with fixed star vertex, it's also in conjunction to the Andromeda galaxy. And these star seeds are the ones that really push social evolution along, okay? And social revolution, because freedom is such a huge part of the Andromedan star seed frequency. The innate frequency that these star seeds bring into this lifetime is about being free, and being, outside of the bounds of obligation and even time, for instance. And so it's going to get even more restless. It's going to be even more, a stronger compulsion to act out. And you're going to see this in a lot of different ways. And, in a lot of different arenas. And we have to be aware of this because part of this too is drawing this out of us in order to keep us from manifesting from within and keeping us from aligning with that sacred feminine within us in order to really manifest what it is that we want, which is the human collective making this transition. Okay. So it's building and you can feel it building. And we ultimately have some really potent support and guidance to bring us to a state of respite, of mental respite, and to find a balance in our minds today. So we'll get to that. So the moon, like I said, is in Gemini. So one of the things that is really important about today that we're going to look at is that she is going to be in a sextile to Chiron in Aries. And why this is important, besides the fact that this is a moment, again, an investment opportunity to look at our wounding and our victim mentality that we carry with Chiron and the potential to heal all of that. Not only do we have an investment opportunity with the moon in Gemini, with this magic that is within us, the potential that's within us, the moon will also be in a conjunction with fixed star Aldebaran. Okay, so let's look at Aldebaran for 1 second here so we can get an idea of what we're working with. Aldebaran is a fixed star. It is in the constellation of Taurus. In fact, it is the eye. It is in the head of Taurus. And this is the home territory of Venus. This is the ruler. She is the ruler of Taurus. This is fertility. There is a reason that ancient cultures revered the bull or the ox. It represents fertility and the medium in which nourishment is able to grow. In Hinduism, they revere the cow because of the same thing. The cow and the bull and the ox, it represents fertility. It gives nourishment and represents everything that can grow. Of course, we're in the lunar year in the Chinese zodiac of the ox, of the bull. of the metal bull, which is a very yin quality. And so again, determination, the patience that goes along with things growing naturally, coming to fruition naturally. The medium in which growth happens is the sacred feminine. So the bull represents this. Now the moon coming into a conjunction with fixed star Aldebaran. This is, let's find her here. I have it. All right. So it's the left eye of the bull. It's actually the nature of Mars. If we're going to look at ancient astrology and fixed star astrology, it's of the nature of Mars, but in a integrity and courage and intelligence and honor. And it's one of the royal stars, and it has to do and is connected to Archangel Michael, who is the military commander of heaven. Okay, so there are two ways that this can go, and as you see here, again, we're going to see that there's a positive aspect here of this integrity and courage and the Archangel Michael, which is this military commander, but it also can inflame the minds of people with furious quarrels. It can be an enemy to quiet and peace, and it can really stimulate a desire for civil war and domestic warfare. Okay, so you can see now that when our moon meets Aldebaran today, and is sextile to Chiron, this ability to see traditional images in a new form of symbolism, especially to see our own wounding and to see our own victim mentality or having to play the savior, right? All of these aspects that are about our identity that we have to let go of in order to truly heal. This conjunction with Aldebaran today is certainly going to stimulate this inflammation, these furious quarrels, but it also can give us integrity and courage at the same time. And we have an opportunity to see these feelings, to experience these feelings today in a way that will allow us to transcend our woundedness, our feelings of not being enough with Chiron and Aries. So right there, you can see that there are opportunities to either feed in to all of this furious quarrel and this inflammation and this desire to go to war, or it can also give us an opportunity to see the battle within us and utilize that energy to go within and fight those battles with our own wounding, with our own demons, I guess you could say, with our own with our own battle within ourselves and who we are. So there's one aspect that can go either way today. Now, and as I said, here's Aldebaran right here. And then Venus is in conjunction with fixed star Mira, which is in the tail of Cetus, the sea monster. Now, we talked about yesterday how she was in conjunction with Mirage, which is in the belt of Andromeda. And if we go back to that mythological story, right, that myth that Perseus came to rescue Andromeda from the Kraken or the sea monster. So Venus is in a conjunction today with this fixed star, and she's not making any major aspects today, but this is considered a marvelous star. Prudence, perseverance, being versatile, endurance in solving difficult problems. Okay, so we can take this energy from within us and allow it to and embody these energies, right, of prudence and perseverance and versatility. And the sea monster is all noise, right, all sound and fury signifying nothing, because what happens is that Perseus comes and destroys the sea monster, right, with what? The head of Medusa. So the sea monster, for all of its, blustering and all puffing up and coming out to think it's getting a meal, is really going to be put down in a way by the head of Medusa, turning it to stone, because at the end of the day, we all have to deal with the unresolved trauma that Medusa represents within us. And so we can avoid fighting when peace will serve us better. Does that mean that we lay down and let people walk all over us? No, but just keep in mind, let's talk about these psychological operations again. They are there to pull us into the fight. Rushing in needlessly without a weapon, that is also what fixed star mirror can represent. And so again, Venus is bringing us back to a place where we can be at peace with ourselves. We can, endurance in solving the difficult problems rather than rushing into things without even having the right tool or weapon. And Venus, even being deeply disturbed by the Kraken showing up, the sea monster, we can transform ourselves within when we have this endurance and this versatility rather than rushing in and expecting this fight, which is going to be difficult with, again, the moon in a conjunction to Aldebaran, which really does encourage the fight and the battle on some level. And so it's really up to us how we are going to interact with all of this energy today. But there's a lot of invitation here to bring it in, draw it in, and put that energy towards our own healing process, our own nurturing process, and being aware of what it is we actually value. Now, to make this even more all connected to each other, Black Moon Lilith is going to be in a conjunction with fixed star Algol today, which is the head of Medusa, as you see right here. Now, this is a lot of noise, so try not to get too caught up in it, but we are at the constellation of Perseus, as I just talked about, and here's Algol right here. This is one of the worst stars in ancient astrology, what it represents and what it portends, right? It's usually not very good. Now, it is a conjunction with Black Moon Lilith. Actually, if we look at this chart here, this is you're not going to see Algol on here necessarily unless I change it to the fixed star version. But here's Black Moon Lilith at the same time that the moon is in this sextile to Chiron. Okay, and it's very close actually to meeting the North Node as well. This will happen very early tomorrow morning, very late in the evening tonight. So that'll be something that we talk a little bit more about later. But what I will say is that Black Moon Lilith is meeting Medusa's head. And so this, again, wow, the potential right here to really heal some very deep trauma, to see things that are, drawing out all of this energy to fight and to battle, seeing that as a manifestation and a reflection of that battle within us. And Lilith is not Medusa, but she can be if we do not recognize all of these archetypal energies and what they represent. So when Lilith comes and meets fixed star Algol today, at the same time that the moon is in a conjunction to Aldebaran, in a sextile to Chiron, we can really, really have just an aha moment and a deep healing, a release of some deep-seated traumas that we can heal, and we can see them as these reflections of what's going on outside of us. We can see them and recognize them as really a reflection of what's going on within us, because Medusa is the unhealed trauma coming out onto the surface. And Lilith, if it is unresolved, if we are unaware of that shadow part of ourselves, if we are unaware of the dark feminine of self-preservation, which is really just trying to preserve that aspect of the sacred feminine, this is an incredible opportunity today, and this is where the magic really will happen. So that's the astrological aspect today. So let's look at the reading today, shall we? Because nope, come back. There we go. Because this is going to be how we can make the most sense of all of this. All right, so magic is afoot. We have the magi, the magician, as our causal factor coming into the moment, the trickster, right? I mean, that's the thing. There's no morality necessarily attached to the mercurial energy. It is just manifestation power. So it's really up to us with how we manifest, what we manifest, because it has to do with the space within that manifestation is able to come about, right? This nurturing, space within us, the Venus energy, the feminine goddess archetype is the space within us. And so if it is a space that is fraught with trauma, unresolved trauma, if we are pushing back against something in a survival way without really acknowledging what is going on within us, then we're going to keep manifesting that same energy. And then the moon meeting Aldebaran today we're just going to, feel into that quarrel, right? That feel into that wanting to battle, right? And feeling justified and self-righteous in it. So the mercurial energy coming into the moment is meeting the Prince of Wands reversed. And it's really our energetic polarity, our vertical axis of power today that is really going to allow us this ultimate effect of peace of mind, right? This is where the peace of mind will come in, but it does require that we see these things for what they are and allow this moment with Chiron, especially today, to show us the symbolism of how deeply wounded humanity really is and how we are fractured. And along with that, how much that fracturing is manipulated and used against us in order to keep us fractured. So again, if you are really feeding into the black or white, the dichotomy, and emotionally feeding into it, which will be the case with the moon in Gemini, there's definitely a high potential for that to happen. But if we are able to engage with some of this, these messages here, this insight, we will have at least a momentary peace of mind, right? The Four of Swords is a momentary peace of mind, right? Just like all the fours, it is a momentary structural integrity, the square, right? The principle of everything being structurally sound, but it doesn't last forever. But it's okay to have a mental respite. It's okay to pull in and nurture that space within us. So let's look at all of these separately. So here's the Magi, and I'm going to take a drink of water. All right. Here's the Magi, the first of the major arcana in the tarot, manifestation and everything that it represents, self-realization, strong will, the energy to have one's own way and to manifest, right? And it's the power of life that represents. It's Sun and the Mercury in Aries, which are both in Aries right now. So this manifestation potential is really high today. And it's the symbol for all the creative skills and ideas that we have inside of us that show us that the possibility of making our dreams come true. It's all here as this causal factor into this moment of today. The magic is definitely afoot. Absolutely. The Prince of Wands. Well, I mean, look at this fiery chariot, okay? He's got a lion pulling the chariot, and it's just flames all over coming off, and there's movement here. A lot of movement, a big headdress of fire, flames coming out of the chariot, and the prince is the air. The prince of the chariot of fire, right? This is what it is. And so the Prince of Wands, though, reversed at the heart of us. This is us. The heart of us today is the storm with the spiritual flaming, right? The impulsive energies here. And we want it, and we want it now, right? There's movement. Again, very mercurial because the prince is the air quality, and then you have the fire. So Mercury in Aries today. Again, lots of mercurial and air and fire. But there's also a lot of courage and tenacity. Again, there's that Aldebaran energy that could come into play. Now, reversed, reckless, destructive, unsatisfied, impatient, always seeking the novelty without getting anything done because you're just wasting your energy, your potency. So even with the magic afoot at the heart of us right now, there is a lot of recklessness and impatience and lack of satisfaction. And we are seeking something without actually getting anything done, because as we continue to project out without doing the work within, right? This is why the goddess is so important, because that is the work within. That is the receptive space within, the stillness, the medium from which everything grows. If we just keep projecting out, bifurcating, we are really not going to get anywhere. And there is so much potent manifestation potential here today that it's, if we there could be very destructive, and there will likely be some very destructive energy within those corners of reality where people are not in any way addressing their own trauma, their own wounds, their own manifestation potential and where it comes from. So where we start to, if we want to get to this peace of mind today, where it's important to start dealing with, number one, where we're energetically rooted. So the Eight of Roses, this has been coming up a lot. The Sangha, the community, the spiritual community. Now, in its reversal position, this can mean a lot of different things depending on the reading and the person that you're addressing. This is a very generalized reading, and so there could be disputes among your family and your friends, a feeling that you don't belong anywhere, and maybe that you don't resonate any longer with the group that you had been committed to and you want to step away. And this really feels to me, specifically though, about minimizing our group exposure and maybe taking some time to go inward and be kind of alone and not so hyper-focused on the emotional connections in the group. It's not to say that this is, that we'll never come back to this or this isn't important, because it absolutely is. But, and as you'll see with the support and the guidance here, on either side, we have to make a commitment to ourselves, but there's a lot of fracture here, and it's really easy to succumb to a false sense of urgency. And the tortoise, is really about slowing down, and slow and steady wins the race, right? And so maybe it's okay that we minimize our group exposure. Maybe it's okay that we step away just for a little bit and to reevaluate where we feel like we belong or these emotional relationships, and reestablish our commitment emotionally, at least to ourselves. And we'll look a lot closer at those cards as well. Now, where our institutional, and that is our personal power, right? That's the nadir in these axes here. Just like in the astrological chart, the horizon of our consciousness and then the axis of our power. And the nadir is the root system to the core of our personal power. So it's important that we if we feel like we don't belong, that's okay. Take a step back. If we're too engaged with the emotional aspect of these communities, it's okay. Take a step back. We can minimize group exposure. If we don't resonate anymore, it's okay. Take a step back. We don't have to succumb to the false sense of urgency. There is a sense of the sands of time, and we'll get to that. But we're talking right now about where we are energetically rooted, each of us, in the core of who we are, because that is where the real work happens, right? This is how manifestation comes about, through our subconscious, not our conscious mind. That by the time it gets to the conscious mind, it is already energetically imprinted. And now we are starting to see it in our awareness. That is really what's going on. So 5 of Keys, our wishes fulfilled. Now this seems kind of, again, counterintuitive, but when our conscious awareness is in the time has come for our dreams to be realized, victory is assured. Nothing can stop what's coming. And the sands of time that go along with this particular energy today, it really speaks to this, that nothing can stop what's coming. Saturn is the timekeeper, and there is really no getting around that in 3 dimensions, okay? Space-time is the law of this universe, and the sands of time are not going to stop moving through the hourglass. Now, whether we need to roll up our sleeves and get to work, well, we're going to see what that actually refers to in just a moment. But in our conscious awareness, the time has come for our dreams to be realized. And if we can commit to ourselves, if we can commit emotionally to humanity as a collective and as a sangha, instead of really allowing ourselves to continue to be fractured, then we can realize our dreams. We can fulfill our wishes. Look at this card. It's full of abundance. This beautiful cabin in a valley, right? All of our food needs are here, right? It's well lit. There's a wine cabinet. Everything is here to fulfill us. And there is this cornucopia type of energy here as well. So if we can allow our minds and our awareness to really drift and focus here, as if it's already here, right? As if it's already here, then we can really lead ourselves to this outcome of the Four of Swords, at least a momentary respite in our minds, okay? A truce. Come to a truce. Jupiter in Libra. A truce. Instead of continuing to fight. Again, the moon meeting Aldebaran today is really going to stimulate this. And so coming to a truce is going to allow us to solve a problem. We, again, remember Venus, it fixed star Mira, give us the perseverance, the endurance, the ability to solve difficult problems. Finding a solution, completing a process, right? Manifestation and a balance of powers. Remember, adjustment, or the Justice card, the Libra card in the major arcana, is the expression of the Magician and the High Priestess together. We can really come to a real balance of power and rest from the fighting if we are engaged energetically here with what this has to offer. Now let's look at our guidance, because I think this is probably the most important part of all of this, to be honest. Number one, the One of Roses, commitment. Most importantly, commitment to ourselves, right? The contract to our own emotional and self-love specifically, right? You see this lamp, it's shining on the contract. It's got all of these rose petals around it. There is a quill, a feather quill that is, the contract is written. So this part of our soul, right? The spirit, the transcendent spirit that the bird represents. We want to make a commitment to ourselves and to the part of us that holds space. The feminine archetype, the goddess, is that emotional aspect of ourselves. And so we do need to make a commitment. We have to remember our commitment to ourselves before we can even engage in the Sangha or the spiritual community, the familial community that it represents. Because without this commitment to ourselves and this sacred feminine within ourselves, then we're not going to feel like we are resonating with any group. We're not going to feel like that this community of the human collective is able to be cohesive. There may be disputes. There may be disruptions in the group. So we have to allow ourselves to start with committing to ourselves. And that's not selfish. That is self-aware. And again, if you love yourself and you're committed to yourself, then that will emanate from you and then start bringing you towards the communities that are cohesive, that they are where you belong. So the tortoise, again, slow and steady wins the race. You're too fragmented, so do whatever it takes to get grounded. So of course there's going to be disruptions and disputes if we are too fragmented. Oh, bifurcated. That's interesting. Easy to succumb to a false sense of urgency. The mind pushes ahead with the bypassing mechanisms. They try to do stuff and do stuff and do stuff. That's the Prince of Wands reversed right here. We're trying to push forward and actualize this stuff when in fact we are doing it from a place of a false sense of urgency. So slow and steady wins the race. Get grounded and allow these fragmented parts. Remember, we talked about this 2 days ago. Are we going to be fragmented or are we going to substantiate? It's really up to us. And it's only going to be reflected outside of us when we all start doing the work within. And we're still It's happening. It's definitely happening, but it's probably not happening at the rate that we wish it would. And speaking of the rate that we want things to go, let's look at it. The Six of Scrolls, the sands of time. Nothing can stop what's coming. Nothing can stop it, because the sands of time are the law of this universe. Saturn, right? And where is Saturn? In Aquarius. The barometer, right? It is giving us the tools and the hardware and the equipment, the instrumentation, in order to see what's coming, right? To have to understand a natural progression of causality, right? We can see what's coming. The sands of time show us that there's nothing that's going to stop it. And we're not going to really be able to impact things out there. This Prince of Wands that's just like, I want it now. We have to allow it to move along its natural progression. And Saturn is giving us all the tools to see that. And it allows us to do what we actually need to do, which is indulge our creativity, our imagination, our magic. Here is the magical side that we can indulge through some sort of artistic expression. And this is different for everybody, okay? It doesn't matter what it is, but it's about indulging that part of you within. And Venus very much is about beautiful, creative, magical expression. You know, Venus in the chart, a lot of times will be this creative and magical artistic expression, depending on where you find it in the chart. And so, again, it's about nurturing this quality within us that is in fact magical, and it allows the Magi to do its job, and allows that part of us within to actually manifest and bring our ideas to fruition, to fulfill our wishes, to fulfill our dreams. We have the potential within us, but it's not going to come through this Prince of Wands character necessarily. This is just us being impatient and reckless and unsatisfied and wanting to do something about it. But if we follow all of this guidance here that has come through today for this transmission, we can find at least some peace of mind. We can find a solution to a problem. We can come to a truce, even if that truce is within us. But we might even find that there is some sort of truce that we are able to come to in those disrupted and fractured communities. You know, there's a lot of people that have been fractured along many different lines because of the last year. And nothing can stop what's coming. So if we want to fulfill and manifest our desires, our wishes, our dreams, which is the human collective ascending and evolving, then it's really about the work we're doing within. And if we nurture ourselves, if we mind the soil, right? If we condition the soil, if we, take care of that which grows the life, and do it through imagination, through a creativity, through that feminine goddess part of ourselves, then yeah, we're going to find some solutions here. But it's not going to come through this fragmentation or this false sense of urgency. Now, does that mean that we should just not do anything? Of course not. Being passive in this way is not being stubborn or lazy. It is about embedding ourselves in the medium of our own growth. And we have to make sure that it is conditioned and given all the nutrients it needs in order to do that. And that is about the goddess. And that is about the space within. And so there's a lot of magic afoot, but it's going to come through the sacred feminine, which is really challenging a lot of people right now that want to act and act and act and think that that's going to give us solutions or come to any type of balanced perspective, and it's just not. So I hope that you found this message inspiring and that it gave you some insight on maybe how to address these energies in your own life. If you're interested in a reading today or any day, you can go to catalystenergies.net and book a service through the website. We're also on Facebook and Telegram. I love Telegram. We don't have a lot of subscribers yet, but I feel like that is in the short term, Telegram is a really, really good platform as opposed to some of the other ones. So I really like that space quite a bit. There's a chat function that we can all interact with each other and post different things and have a conversation. If you are on BitChute or YouTube and you are a subscriber, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You truly are the lifeblood of this channel. If you're new to this channel on BitChute or YouTube, welcome. Thank you for being here. And just remember that when you interact with the content, it really does support independent content creators like myself. So subscribing, sharing, hitting the like button, all of those things, commenting on the content, all of those things, send a message to the AI that this is worth spreading around. So with that said, I hope you guys have a great day. That is the end of this transmission. I appreciate and love each and every one of you. And we will be back tomorrow for Friday's transmission. And the weekly astrology will be posted on my Subscribestar platform for $3 a month. You have access to all of the astrology content. Of course, the daily medicine will always be available as my offering on YouTube and BitChute for the time being. So that's always going to be here. But if you want the in-depth astrological read for the week, go over to Subscribestar and subscribe to my platform, and you will be able to access that content exclusively. So take care. Have a great Thursday. Indulge your creative and imaginative side. The goddess is alive, and magic is definitely afoot, my friends. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.